Hello, everybody, and welcome very much to episode. I think this is episode 10 or 11 or 12 or something along those lines of Amorous. My name is Captain Sheldon, and I will be your host on this journey. Before we get started, I'm just gonna do a quick overview about stuff for the channel. Basically, I'm about to get a whole bunch of my stuff on my computer fixed in this upcoming weekend, and because of that, I am not going to be able to continue my Mountain Blade series really from where we are. And since it doesn't seem to be all that popular anyways, I might just cut it and start up a new game. Maybe an RTS. I love RTSs or something else like that. But I just wanted to let people know because this is where I see a lot of the people coming to watch stuff, and I didn't want anyone to be really confused and start complaining about where's Mountain Blade, where's Mountain Blade. It's just not going to continue right now. Maybe I'll go back to it later on, but for now, let's continue where we left off for Amorous. I believe that the last time we were here, we finished up all of our dates with Jax. Yes, we had Jax the bartender. We've done Lex and Seth, and we've had Kobe. And so now, I guess it is time to I think if we call Kobe, we can go back to Club Amorous. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to Amorous, and we are going to see who we're going to meet next. Let's see. Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice this. Apparently, after you have your stuff with Jax, the horse guy is the bartender now. Let's go see what he has to say. Let's see. Oh no, he doesn't do anything fun. I was hoping he was going to do something fun or have some kind of like fun stuff. Let's see here. Her, I know about her. I'm going to save for the very end of the game. The very last place we go is to talk to her. Let's see. Well, let's try going upstairs because I think we've done everyone I wanted to do on the first floor. Yeah, there's this guy who's, you know, yeah, we could go see him. Then there's also this goat. I think if we head upstairs, yeah, there's the dragon guy. And out here we can meet. See, this is the bartender I would want to like go and talk to, but no, can't do that. Who is it out here? Her. Yes, her. I thought there was one other person maybe we might be able to. Nope, I guess not. Although this guy is like very much checking out her while she's bathing, and that's kind of creepy, bro. Also, the water in this looks so fake. Oh my god. Like that's so disgustingly fake. Alright, anyways. Don't really feel like doing him. Might go after the lion right now. Let's see. Yeah, let's go after the lion guy now. Let's see. I couldn't help but notice the lion at the back of the room. His face a plaid mask as the parrot next to him seemed locked in a scowl. Despite my best intentions, I couldn't help but overhear snippets of what they were saying. Seriously? You're going to make a big deal out of this? Yeah, I am. What were you thinking? That I'd like to have some fun for a change. Then go have some fucking fun, and once you're done, you can stay gone. Neither of them moved for a long moment. The snarl on the parrot's beak grew sharper, and it parted long enough for an exhale. Nothing was spoken, though. Instead, the parrot turned on his heel with a snort and strode back towards the bar. The lion tried not to watch as the parrot moved through the crowd to the dance floor. His eyes darted to their corners, catching a glimpse or two before the crowd engulfed the parrot. After a beat, the lion's expression changed. His emerald green eyes narrowed and scanned the room as the corners of his mouth began to rise. A twinge of fear tickled the back of my neck as those eyes settled on me. The lion drew his tongue slowly over his lips, and two very wicked-looking fangs came into view. He crooked a finger at me, urging me over. I guess we're gonna approach. Despite my reservations, I felt drawn in. His smile grew more predatory, and the taut muscles beneath his shirt tensed enticingly as he shifted to give me a once-over. Wow. Well, would you look at that? I'm surprised you came over to me, but happy to see you here. I was just about to buy myself a drink. Don't suppose you'd like one too, Sure. Sure, I'm a little parched, and a drink could help me relax. Sounds good. Let me order something for us. The lion glanced over at the bar for a moment before walking over and placing an order. Unfortunately, there's nothing more awkward than standing alone in an active nightclub. Glancing between the clubgoers, I was feeling a little exposed until he walked back with two highball glasses. Handing one to me, I glanced down to see what it was. Each glass had 2 cubes of ice and a cherry bobbing in an amber beverage. There we go. I always like to have a couple in me when I'm chatting. Takes the edge off. Might even give you something to do other than stare at me. Not that I mind. So, I'm Dustin. What's your name, kid? Sheldon. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you? Ha, you sure you're in the right place, kid? Anyway, the name's Dustin. You said that already. What brings you here, Sheldon? You don't look like the type to cruise bars. And considering how quickly you came over, I figure you don't have a date waiting on you. I could feel my cheeks flush as those hungry eyes kept wandering over me. No, I just came here with my brother. He'd be wanting to get out of the house, and I said... He'd been wanting to get out of the house, and I said I'd come along. You sure there wasn't another reason? Let's be honest here. I want to find a date. To be honest, kind of looking for someone to get to know. It's been a rough time recently, and being alone has just made it harder. That's adorable. Dear God, you're miles away from the right place for it, but it's adorable. Most people may be here for a quick fuck, but some of them are looking for a little more too. Does that include you too? Maybe. Guess you'll have to keep talking to find out. What do you mean? Well, I don't do complete strangers, and I don't do small talk, which means I'm gonna need some conversation if you want to keep this going. After all, we've both got drinks. It'd be a shame to waste them on empty chatter. Dustin's eyes glimmered a little in the dim light, and I felt another tingle up my spine. I suppose it would be a good idea to get to know each other better. See, this kind of stuff just doesn't ever happen. Not at clubs. Not in my experience. Like, every time I've gone to a club, it's just been, you know, a parade of people who just want to hook up and dance and grind and go to a bathroom. Yeah. Fair enough. Why don't I start? I might have missed that thing because I was talking, so I'm sorry, but you should have gotten a chance to read it. Let's go with a little about you. Speaking conversation, you haven't said much about yourself. Sorry, I was just taking a little drink there. Fair enough, but there's not much to tell that I can repeat in public. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Currently, I'm slinging coffee and scones at Man's Best Friend. It's a local cafe that most people around here frequent. It's not the most glamorous job, but it pays the bills and my student loans. Student loans? Yeah, I'm a college guy. Was, at least. Degree's almost done, but life caught up. Still have a semester or two left before it's official. What were you studying? Law, actually. Arguing cases and defending the undefended always had an appeal. Reality is different, but we all have dreams. See, this expression I like so much better than that predatory one, the predatory grin and smirk thing that he had going on. Like, he seems relaxed and, you know, just happy to be around. Not, you know, looking to do something. Just what the other look makes it look like, and it's... I don't know, I'm rambling now, sorry. Let's see, what else we got? I take it things didn't pan out. Had a dose of reality and realized that maybe a high-stress job wasn't the best option for me. Still interested in wrapping up my degree, but maybe opening a practice locally. Don't know when that'd happen though. You know, sometimes being comfortable is more important. Dreams can be overrated at times. Sometimes it's nice to just have something steady to rely on. Could be right. I mean, it's not a six-figure salary, but working in a cafe has its perks. He looks really down now. Oh, this might be the guy that is like really actually kind of hard to get. Aside, like Jax was hard to get, but Dustin's also might be really hard to get. And if that is the case, I might have to restart this and figure out exactly what kind of things I need to say to him to get his number. Caffeine aside, I don't know. Like I said, I'd feel worse leaving that stuff unfinished. Can't stick to my old routine forever, right? Alright, so let's tell him about me. So about me, suppose I should talk a little about myself. That's the first step in getting this look. It's like very almost angry, but like he's going to he's looking to do harm almost. You know, with the ears laid back and everything. It's just threatening. It's almost really threatening, you know? That's the first step in getting to know someone. So, what are you like when you're not in the club? Let's go with exploring. That sounds a lot better than unemployed. I'm taking some time to get to know me. Get out and see what this town has to offer. Got plenty of free time to do that, kid? Well, I'm kinda between jobs at the moment. Not ideal, but I'm making the best of it. Hope you're not looking for a sugar daddy while you get back on your feet. See, nah, I've got savings. No worries. I was smart and made sure I had a nest egg. Smart and freely available. You're getting more interesting by the moment, kid. Hey now, I didn't say I'd be a sugar daddy either. Ha. Well, we can go Dutch then. It's only fair. How's the job hunt going? Let's be honest. Not great. I've been handing out resumes and interviewing for what seems like an eternity. I could really use a break. Went through that when I started college. If you want, I can put a word for you at the cafe. Maybe they need someone. That'd be great. I'll see what's available and get back in touch. That said, I'm sure you don't want to talk about your job status all night. Talking about my lack of a job wasn't the best choice of conversation topic. Maybe I should try something else. Let's go right for the ball. You know, who was that guy from earlier? I don't mean to pry, but I couldn't help but overhear you talking to that guy earlier. What was all that about? You caught that, huh? Shit. Not the best way to make a first impression. That was my date for tonight. Emphasis on the was. Suppose I should have seen it coming. We've been on the rocks for quite some time. What happened? We came here to look for a third. It was his idea to spice up the relationship. Problem is, once he finds one, he doesn't want to share. Yeah, polyamory can be difficult. I'm no expert, but I know my brother's had his share of multiple dates. It's never easy for him either. Didn't expect it to be easy, but didn't expect it to be just be an excuse either. I thought I might have been into it, if he gave me half a chance. Well, you kept an open mind at least. That counts for something. Doesn't count for much when I'm not the one included. Look, kid, it's a touchy subject. And I know exactly how that feels. That happened to me. I dated someone and they wanted to add someone else in, and then, you know, I got essentially shoved out of everything. Which felt bad. Okay, fair enough. Maybe there's something else we can talk about. Okay. I don't really want to go down this path. This path does not seem like a good path to go down. So, let's say I think that's enough conversation for now. This is fun, but I didn't want to spend all night talking. Well, I finished my drink, and we certainly got to know each other a little. What did you have in mind? Let's say I want to make this official. It's been a little while, but I think this could qualify as a date. What do you think? You think we can just make that kind of choice and have it stick? Let's say I like you and I want to see where this goes. I think it's worth giving it a shot. Well, I can't exactly argue with that. We chatted a little more, the smile on his face growing wider. His paw rested on my shoulder and he drew close enough for me to catch his intoxicating scent. I think we should retire to one of the private booths they've got here. Really? What did you have in mind? I think you've got an idea of it already, kid. His paw moved from my shoulder downward, trailing over my back. I could feel the claw tips tickling and teasing me under my clothes. I'll be honest with you, Sheldon. I'm a very private person, but I have very particular interests that would involve you. I figured you should know about them. His paw fell to the curve of my rear, squeezing softly as he pulled me close to him. I could feel his whiskers tickling my cheek as he whispered to me. I like to tie people. Whoa, okay. Well. Alright. I guess we're going here. I like to tie people up. I like to control them when we're in the bedroom. I've been picturing you naked since, maybe a few minutes after we started talking. Been fantasizing about what I can do to you, and what you can do for me. I can almost see you on your knees in front of me, begging for a taste, and you look good there. It was hard to keep any remaining composure I had. Between the caress of his silky fur and the growing warmth in the pit of my stomach, I was getting flush myself. I can even be a little bit of an exhibitionist if need be. He stepped away for just a moment, sliding off his shirt, tucking it into the waistband of his pants, before stepping up to me and lacing his paws behind the small of my back, forcing me forward. So, what do you say, kid? Between him pressing needfully against me and the feeling of my blood rushing everywhere but my brain, I struggled for a response. My attempts were cut short, however, by a sudden vibration against my thigh. He looked confused for a moment before fishing his phone out of his pocket. Just fucking great. I wonder who texted me. He released me, the ambient glow of the phone lighting up his face in the dimly lit club. At first he looked frustrated, his brow furrowed as his eyes darted over the screen. However, his expression changed almost immediately after, and his hands fell to his sides. That fucking bastard. He sent me a photo of him with the two guys he met here. They're going at it in my apartment. In my damn bed. Says he's been cheating on me with them for the past couple of months. He shoved his phone back in his pocket and looked up at me. Look, Sheldon, Shit, I have to go deal with this. I really didn't want the night turning out like this, but... I smiled meekly. I was still a little overwhelming. It was all still a little overwhelming. I'd like to see you again, Sheldon, preferably when my ex isn't being a total dick. Pulling out a notepad, he scribbled something down on it and passed it over. Here's my cell. Give me a call sometime. I'd like to give this another chance. Throwing his shirt back on, he began to work his way through the crowd. I clutched the paper for a moment as my body began to settle down from its high. Slipping it into my pocket, I slowly came back to my senses. Well, okay. So, that happened. Okay, yeah. Alright, well, I could just go back. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to the house. And then, how do I get back there? It's over here. Hey, Kobe. Take me back home. Let's go home. Alright. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I was not expecting the whole bondage lion thing, you know. Like, I was not expecting that, but I guess let's go ahead and give him a call. Oh, his shirt's even off in his thing. Yeah, we'll do his first date for this episode, and then next episode we'll call it off there. Alright, flipping through my contacts, I saw Dustin's name pop up. I hadn't talked to him since we met at the club. Maybe I should give him a call. Ring, ring. Click. Hey there, kid. What's up? Nothing much. I just figured I should give you a call and see if you were still interested in that date. Sure. Honestly, I didn't know if you were gonna call back. I did get a little handsy at the club, and it ended on an awkward note. Water under the bridge. Life gets in the way sometimes. I understand that pretty well myself. I suppose so. Still, I appreciate the slack. I thought we hit it off pretty well, all things considered. You know, if you're comfortable with it, I've got tickets to a movie tonight. I thought I had a date when I got them, but, well, you saw how that worked out. The second one is yours, if you're free around 7 p.m. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. Meet you there a little before 7 then? It's a date. See you then. Well, guess I'd better get ready to be seen in public. Once I'd gotten my usual day stuff out of the way and dug up an outfit, I'd noticed it was already getting late. Fortunately, the movie theater wasn't that far away and the night was warm. One of the other advantages of living in a tropical paradise. It was nearly 7 p.m. by the time I made it to the lobby. A few people were milling about, but none of them looked like Dustin. Maybe he was running late as well. I lingered around the posters, checking out the currently showing movies and perusing the concessions, when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Hey there, Sheldon. Sorry I was a little slow. The cleanup is always a pain. That's alright. I just got here a little while ago, and you're the one with the tickets. Speaking of which, what movie are we seeing? The smile on his face grew as he produced the tickets from his jean pocket and handed me one. It's the Amazonian Queen. Since the big budget stuff is usually so expensive, they do a few classic movie nights a week. The tickets are a little cheaper and the movies are much better on the big screen. You're a movie buff? You're a movie buff? Didn't know that. Big time. I never miss a classic movie on the big screen. They might be from a different era, but they're still a blast to watch. Saw that old slasher film last time, and maybe it was chocolate syrup going down the drain, but it looked enough like blood to me. Guess I learned something new about him already. His eyes lit up like a child at Christmas. This wasn't just a dinner and movie date. This was something special Dustin wanted to share. This will be my first time seeing this movie, so don't spoil it for me. Deal. You want to grab something before the movie? I know I come here for the popcorn too. The two of us walked up to the counter and perused our options. What can I get for you? Give us just a sec to decide. Dustin turned around and smiled. What do you have? It's my treat, so don't worry about the cost. Let's see. I mean, usually when I go out on a date or something, I want to know more about the other person, so I ask them to choose stuff. Why don't you pick something, Dustin? I'm always pretty indecisive. Like someone else to make the choices for you, huh? Dustin strode up to the counter for my benefit, Maybe there was a small desire to see that forceful, confident lion from last night guiding my decision, but I wasn't about to admit that. I'll have a giant popcorn and a box of sweets for my friend here. Giant popcorn and a box of candy. Gotcha. It'll be just a moment. Dustin paid the clerk before he turned his back to the both of us. While the clerk was busy filling up the bucket of popcorn, I felt a paw graze ever so lightly along the small of my back. Dustin grinned broadly and leaned in close enough for me to feel his breath on my cheek. Guess we didn't have enough time at the club for you to let me in on that sort of thing. I like it, kid. Oh, okay, so... Again, that predatory look. Like, man. Okay. My cheeks were on fire as Dustin's paw slipped down to cup my backside and give it a firm squeeze. Fortunately or not, I suppose, the clerk turned back with the popcorn and Dustin's hand slid stealthily away from my rump. Here we go. Should be plenty to snack on for the two of you. Thanks. No problem. Enjoy the movie. Dustin grinned back at me, taking a moment to run a claw along the nape of my neck, before grabbing the snacks and motioning to the theater. The two of us made our way through the small crowd into the theater. Dustin had already chosen the seats with the best view and led me through the crowds. Aside from the rowdy teenagers a row or so ahead of us, it was nice. The darkened room was cozy, and knowing Dustin was right next to me was comforting. The house lights rose slightly, casting a soft glow about the crowd. Above us, a familiar voice came over the PA. Thank you all for coming to the evening showing of the 50s classic movie, The Amazonian Queen. Sorry. Even in the dim light, I could see Dustin's face plastered with a grin. His hand brushed over mine for a moment, giving it a gentle squeeze as he beamed an excited smile in my direction. Accompanying the movie will be our house organist to better preserve the same experience as the movie's release. Because of this, we ask that you turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices. For your safety, be aware of the exits to either side of the screen in case of emergency. Now, relax and enjoy one of the early cinematic classics, The Amazonian Queen. A flurry of clapping rose from the audience as the house lights dimmed once more. As the film started up on the screen, the dull glow of a phone and some scattered snickering drew my attention to the row in front of us. Of course, once the organ began to echo through the theater, my eyes snapped to the flickering screen ahead. The movie opened on a man sitting on a dock by the river, a small riverboat bobbing in the water nearby. The shadow of a figure passes over him, and a woman in far more elegant dress stands behind him. Dustin leaned in to whisper in my ear. That's Daisy Smith. She's a missionary in South America, and she was separated from the rest of the group when they discovered plans to attack a major military base held by the good guys. Let's go ahead and just cuddle up and listen. Despite him pretty much explaining what's on the screen already, it's kind of fun to hear him tell me about it. That, and it gives me an excuse to get closer to him. Once the woman has secured passage on the boat and the man is unaware she carries important information for the Allied forces, the two of them find that they are extremely incompatible. Now, he's specifically in the jungle to try and stay out of the conflict. He lost his father to the previous war and hid away in the Amazon to avoid the draft, so he doesn't want any part of what she's doing. As the journey goes on, the two of them begin to rub each other the wrong way more frequently. He's snapping at her and she's hiding away in the cramped cabin, trying desperately to keep her courage up. The snickering from the teenagers in front of us spiked at the sight of the woman falling face first into the dirty cot she's been given to sleep on. Dustin's eyes narrowed at the distraction. I'm just gonna ignore them. Just ignore them, Dustin. It's not worth ruining the movie. As time passes, the two of them begin to enter a part of the jungle that's under the control of the bad guys. Avoiding gunfire, shells, and attempts to board the small boat, the man loses the woman when she is captured by enemy forces. This is the part where he realizes that staying neutral was just letting the other side win. Losing Daisy was like losing his father all over again, and he realizes that he has to do something. Alone on the boat, the man is just about to leave the checkpoint when we see him ball a fist and sock the guard right in the face. He heads deeper into the jungle to the bad guy's bunker and waits in the pouring rain for a chance to slip inside. It's at this point that the teams burst into laughter, met with a few shushes. It's at this point that the teens burst into laughter, met with a few shushes from the other theater goers nearby. They simply mock them back and keep laughing. Oh god, that's so. Let's try to ignore them. I tried to ignore them, cuddling up more with Dustin, when a fortunate explosion on screen managed to quiet them enough to pay attention to the movie again. Setting the bunker's ammo piles on fire provides enough of a distraction for the two of them to escape. As they rush back to the boat, she notices the blood on the side of his shirt and looks up to see his pained face. Saving her gave him some small closure for not being old enough to save his father, and she sees that the rough and tumble man really does have a heart of gold. Back on the boat, she tends to his wounds. It's touch and go for a while as she learns to run the ship while keeping him in bed. Necessity keeps them civil, but as time passes, they find it easier and easier. With only moments left to reach the command base before the attack, the two of them do everything they can to lighten the load and speed up the ship. We watch as she throws her luggage overboard, leaving the tattered dress she wears as her only possession. I love this part. Her sacrifice only further confirms his feelings towards her. He couldn't be bothered to get involved when the world was on fire around him, but her determination is enough to draw him out of that shell and drive him into action. They finally reach the command post, rushing in past the guards to relay the information in the nick of time. The commander sends his men out to arrest the traitors and guard the perimeter. In the meantime, the two of them collapse in the medical tent, their hands falling into each other's before they sleep. The teenagers are at it again, making kissy noises and laughing uproariously. As I feel Dustin start to stand, I squeeze his arm and shake my head. Just ignore them. The movie is almost over. Don't let them ruin it. Begrudgingly, he settled back into his seat. With the conflict won in the region, the woman begs the man not to return to the river. He is hesitant, but a kiss on the cheek from the woman draws him close. The two of them embrace, and with a final passionate kiss, the movie comes to an end. Applause rolled through the theater, many people standing up in their seats. Dustin and I worked our way through the crowd and back out into the lobby. The lobby is bustling as people chat about the movie, plans for afterward, and just stretch after being in the theater seating for too long. So, what did you think about the movie? It was good. Alright, it was a good movie, but nothing I hadn't seen before. I'm certainly glad I came out to see it, though. It's an acquired taste, I'll admit. Glad you weren't bored, though. It was also good to see it with someone else. Nothing sadder for me than going to a movie by myself. I thought I didn't want you to spoil it for me, but all that dialogue really added some more depth to the movie for me. Thanks for indulging me. I love talking about movies, and that one in particular. There's just so many more layers to it than you think possible. It just sucks that those kids kept acting up. It ruined the movie for me. I just don't see the point of making a scene. They clearly weren't about to stop regardless. Believe me, I could have gotten them to shut up. I can be very persuasive. No doubt there. Nothing gets people to quiet down faster than a big burly lion only inches away from them. To emphasize the point, he stood a hair's breadth away from me. I could feel the warmth radiating off of him, and my knees weakened a little. Pleased with my reaction, he stepped back enough to give me some breathing room and ran a paw through his mane. What now? Standing there in silence for a moment, I finally popped up. I had a good time, Dustin. Did you want to grab some proper food or maybe take a walk? Okay. I think we should head back to my place. We could have a couple drinks and maybe get to know each other better in a more intimate setting. I could feel a smile tickling the edges of my mouth as I strode up closer to him. Sounds like a great idea. Lead the way. The night was peaceful and warm, the best kind when you're walking through the dimly lit streets. We chatted for a bit about other things, his job, my lack of one, small talk mostly, but it was nice to get to know him a little better. That's why you need to steam the milk for just a little bit. Otherwise you've got a big clotted clump of butter and a pissed off yuppie. Did that ever happen to you? Sorry, I was just... Oh man, I could not wrap my head around that statement. Yeah. Alright. How do you think I know what happens? The lobby of the apartment building was completely empty and Dustin pointed towards the elevators on the far wall. After we both got in, our conversation picked back up. I know it sounds good to be home all day, but with my social butterfly brother and my lack of desire to go back to my childhood chore list, I've been bored out of my skull. I'll bet. You grow up for a reason after all. Last thing you want to do is relive your childhood. Well, the mediocre parts of it anyway. The elevator dinged and we walked a few steps out into the hall before he motioned towards a door. Here's my place, come on in. It was one of those simple upper floor plans, spacious with big windows to look out over the city. I could see the sparkling lights of the streets and the other buildings against the night sky. You could still tell it was a swinging bachelor pad with its leather couch and lack of a dining room table, but it was certainly comfortable. That is, except for the familiar parrot seated in one of the chairs. Guess it didn't take long for you to find someone else, huh? You're one to talk, Var, particularly when you send me a picture of you getting railed by 3 other guys. What the hell are you doing breaking into my apartment? First, I didn't break in. I still had a key. Second, it's my father's watch I lent you. I need it back. Lent me? You gave it to me for our first anniversary and didn't say anything about it belonging to your dad. What the fuck, Var? I still need it back. He's been looking for it and he'll have my hide if he thinks I lost it. It's not like you ever wore it anyway. Just wait right here, Var. I'll get your damn watch and I boxed up your stuff already. You can take it all. Leave my key and get out. Fine. No down off my ass. Then you can get back to diddling your little fuck toy here, I suppose. Dustin stepped into the bedroom, his eyes narrowed and his nostrils flaring. This guy knew all too well how to get under his fur. So, you're the latest conquest, huh? Saw you talking to him at the club. Let's just ignore him. Despite wanting to say something, I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to get Dustin into any more trouble, and this guy definitely wasn't worth it. Lying got your tongue? Ha, smartest move you could make. I've got Dustin wrapped around my finger. You might think that you've got something, but I can get him back in a moment if I wanted. I took a short breath, just looking in the direction of the bedroom door and trying to tune him out. You think this is the first time we've had a blow-up like this? Last time the sex was mind-blowing. He fucked me so hard I couldn't walk for a week. Just stayed here in his bed while he pampered me and then plowed me every night. It was getting considerably more difficult to ignore the parrot's smirking face. So, it doesn't matter what you think you got, he's just going to drop you off on the curb the instant you bore him. I turned back to him, my fingers tensing as Dustin walked back into the room. Alright, Var, here's your shit and that watch. Now there's the door, see yourself out and leave the key. With one last smirk in my direction, the parrot set the key dramatically on the coffee table and grabbed his box. Have fun, you two. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Dustin slammed the door behind his ex and slumped against it. Sorry about that. That guy's a force of nature. Can't believe we stayed together for so long. Running into Dustin's ex, even if it was the first official time, had been far from a pleasant experience. From Dustin's sagging shoulder and distant look, I could tell it was rough on him too. I didn't mean for this to happen for a second time, but maybe we should end the night here. Arguing with Var about his bullshit was always a major mood killer, even when we were dating. I understand. I get it. It's complicated when you've been with someone for so long, even if they do turn out to be a jerk. Seen it happen to my brother, had it happen to me before. Thanks, Sheldon. I don't like it any better than you, but oof, just talking about it is exhausting. I can go. Dustin walked from the living room to the doorway where I was, gathering me up in his arms and pressing his lips to mine in a tender kiss. I hope you believe me when I say this. When I say this is the last thing I wanted to have happen. I had a great time tonight, and I want to see you again. I want to see you too. Let's just end on this, and we'll save up for the next time. I'm just glad. Oh shoot, I missed that. Sorry. Of course, I'm not a single date kind of guy. We kissed once more in the embrace, and reluctantly he released me. Somehow, the goodbyes were still awkward, and I found myself more than a little empty-headed when I closed the door behind me. Maybe it's just dating jitters, or maybe Var's little chat with me had more of an impact than I'd like to admit. Either way, better to support him through this. He'll deal with Var on his own terms and come out better for it. In the meantime, I had to consider what I was going to do with the rest of my evening. Alright. Oh, that was weird. No one was home when I got there. Kobe was likely still out partying it up, which meant I was free to do what I wanted. Alright, well, I am going to have to end it there for today. I thank you guys for watching and hope you all have a great time. We're going to go ahead and save it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.